The city lights flickered like far-off stars, bathing the lively streets below in a hauntingly beautiful glow. The scene unfolded before me, a breathtaking tapestry woven with the pulse of the city, each heartbeat echoing the vibrant life that surged through its very core. As I crossed the threshold of our apartment, the familiar buzz of the city faded into a distant memory. The silence that enveloped our home was haunting, a jarring contrast to the vibrant symphony of sounds that typically welcomed me. As I stepped out of the office, the weight of the day's meetings and the relentless tide of paperwork pushed me toward the solace of my own sanctuary. I expected to discover my husband sprawled on the sofa, a glass of whiskey cradled in his hand, or maybe Nathan, my stepson, lost in the immersive realm of his video games, the volume cranked up high enough to drown out reality. Instead, I was engulfed by darkness, with only a slender beam of light daring to escape from beneath the living room door. A surge of unease washed over me as I slowly nudged the door open, bracing myself for the possibility of an unwelcome presence lurking within. What I stumbled upon was nothing short of astonishing. There, on the sumptuous cushions of our sofa, lay Nathan, an enigmatic figure shrouded in stillness. His athletic form exuded a relaxed demeanor, yet, beneath the surface, lay an intensity that crackled in the air, palpable even from the doorway. The television bathed his face in a soft, flickering glow, twisting his features into a captivating blend of focus and delight. His gaze locked onto the distant TV screen, his body tense, with a restless energy he couldn't quite conceal. A surge of disbelief crashed over me. My breath caught in my throat as the weight of the situation sank in. Nathan, my stepson, was lost in the depths of self-indulgence, oblivious to the shadows that lingered nearby. The sheer size of his endowment was astonishing, a clear reflection of his maturity, boldly showcased for all to see. In that fleeting instant, I stood paralyzed, my thoughts swirling in a tempest of clashing feelings. Embarrassment washed over me, a deep discomfort at having stumbled upon such an intimate act. Yet, intertwined with that unease was a flicker of curiosity, a forbidden desire to unravel the mystery of the young man he had become, stirring within me like a restless tide. The thought flickered in my mind, a fleeting shadow I desperately tried to banish, yet the guilt clung to me, a relentless specter gnawing at the edges of my conscience. Nathan released a quiet, yearning sound. With his eyes shut tight, he surrendered to the intoxicating sensations that coursed through him, each caress igniting a fire within. The sudden noise jolted me from my thoughts, and a rush of urgency surged through me. I had to escape before he caught sight of me lingering in the shadows. With every ounce of grace I could summon, I slipped away, my heart thundering like a relentless drum in my chest. The journey down the hallway to my bedroom stretched into an eternity, each step laden with the haunting memories of what I had just witnessed. As I stepped inside, I shut the door with a decisive click, pressing my back against it, a desperate attempt to shield myself from the tide of unsettling emotions that surged within me, threatening to engulf me whole. The room enveloped me like a cocoon, a sacred refuge where I could unravel the tangled threads of the evening's tumult in the stillness of my own thoughts. I approached the window, pulling the curtains apart to reveal the sprawling cityscape beyond. The lights flickered in the darkness, their cold glow mocking the storm of emotion swirling inside me. Perched on the edge of the bed, my thoughts swirled chaotically, evading any attempt to form a coherent narrative. Nathan's image seared itself into my memory, his imposing figure radiating an intoxicating blend of joy and satisfaction. A glimpse into a shadowy corner of his soul, one that captivated and unsettled me in equal measure. With a sense of detachment, I shed my clothes, each motion feeling like a chore, before I finally sank beneath the warm embrace of the covers. The cool sheets clung to my skin, providing scant solace as my mind spiraled through the haunting echoes of the living room scene, replaying every chilling moment relentlessly. No matter how hard I fought to dispel them, the thoughts clung to me, enveloping me like a silk shawl on a sultry summer evening. I lay there, shrouded in darkness that wrapped around me like a heavy cloak, providing no escape from the haunting echoes of the evening's encounter that played over and over in my mind. The walls, once a bastion of my refuge, now loomed ominously, closing in like a suffocating embrace, bearing silent witness to the tempest that raged inside me. No matter how hard I fought to dispel them, the thoughts wrapped around me like a relentless fog, maddening yet strangely captivating. Nathan's face, laid bare without intention, was a haunting presence that would not be banished. His imposing stature, the raw essence of masculinity radiating from him, was a revelation that obliterated the memory of the boy I once knew. As the night deepened, I found myself locked in a relentless battle against the surging tide of my own desires, a struggle that felt increasingly futile. The forbidden held an irresistible charm, a siren's song that lured me closer to the perilous cliffs of moral decay. As I floated in a tumultuous ocean of emotions, guilt and excitement crashed against each other like two colossal waves, each vying for dominance in my heart. In the stillness of my bed, my hands ventured across the well-known terrain of my body, each caress a silent rebellion against the maternal identity I had meticulously crafted over the years. Yet, the treacherous notion of Nathan's hand replacing mine sent shivers of anticipation racing through my veins, igniting a fire that had lain dormant for far too long. I surrendered to the fantasy, delving deep into the contours of my desire, the aching void that longed to be fulfilled, the intense yearning that had surged within me from the instant I first beheld Nathan's bare figure now clamored for liberation, and I found myself utterly unable to resist its call. My breath quickened, each inhale a jagged gasp as I maneuvered through the perilous depths of my own desire. The allure of the forbidden, the intoxicating vision of Nathan's hands, his mouth, his body enveloping mine, became a powerful potion that blurred my senses and ignited my longing. As I approached the peak of my ecstasy, the lines separating reality from fantasy faded into a hazy abyss. The waves of ecstasy surged through me, a tumultuous blend of sanctuary and sentence, a fleeting moment of pure, unadulterated bliss marred by the haunting awareness of its inherent wrongness. In the hushed aftermath, as I lay exhausted and grappling with the enormity of my own betrayal, the burden of my deeds enveloped me like a heavy cloak. I had stepped into a realm beyond mere contemplation, delving deep into the core of my existence. The night, once a sanctuary for quiet contemplation, had transformed into a battleground for my own moral conflict, a tale in which I found myself entangled as both the hero and the antagonist. As sleep finally enveloped me, it was with the weight of a heart burdened by the haunting vision of the abyss, where I discovered a shadowy mirror reflecting my own concealed longings. The dawn would soon break, unleashing its harsh light upon the hidden truths of the night. Nathan and I sat across from each other at the breakfast table, the ordinary morning greetings heavy with the unvoiced understanding of the events that had unfolded in the depths of our solitary worlds. Would he notice the transformation within me? The quiet alteration in the way my gaze lingered on him? Would he perceive the shift in his identity, recognizing himself as a man rather than merely the boy I had nurtured? The questions lingered in the air, spectral and foreboding, teasing me with the tantalizing promise of revelations waiting just beyond reach. With the first light of dawn spilling a golden glow into the kitchen, I immersed myself in the familiar dance of breakfast preparation, each movement steeped in tradition and anticipation. The bacon crackled and popped in the pan, its savory scent mingling with the deep, inviting aroma of freshly ground coffee as it brewed. These familiar sensations wrapped around us like a warm embrace, a steadfast anchor in the tumultuous sea of our ever-shifting lives. Yet today they faded into mere whispers against the storm of chaotic thoughts that raged within me. Nathan, now a university student, had transformed into a figure of remarkable maturity and fierce independence. Yet the previous night had peeled back the layers of academia and ambition, exposing a vulnerability that caught me off guard. As I arranged the breakfast table with meticulous care, my mind was engulfed by the haunting memory of his unguarded moment, a fleeting instant that had exposed his deepest, most primal desires. The echo of footsteps reverberated through the house as Nathan began his descent from the room above, each step a harbinger of the unfolding drama below. He strode into the kitchen, exuding the effortless bravado of youth, his laptop secured under one arm, a textbook gripped tightly in the other. As dawn broke, he muttered a soft greeting, placing his belongings on the counter with a quiet thud before reaching for a glass of vibrant orange juice, the cool liquid promising a refreshing start to the day. "Good morning, Nathan," I replied, my gaze fixed on him, a storm of emotions swirling within me, desperate to remain hidden beneath the surface. "How are your classes unfolding?" He took a sip of his juice, leaning back against the counter, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm as he began to weave a vivid tale of his recent academic adventures. I leaned in, feigning interest, my head bobbing in agreement, while inside a tempest of thoughts and feelings swirled, completely detached from his endless discourse on economics and literature. As he spoke, I couldn't help but steal glances at him, captivated by the way his shirt clung to his broadening shoulders, the stubble that shadowed his jawline, and the subtle flecks of muscle beneath the fabric of his pants. Nathan had transformed from the awkward teenager I once knew. He had transformed into a young man of remarkable stature and strength, a truth that had struck him with startling clarity just a few hours earlier. As he polished off his meal and began to collect his belongings, a palpable tension filled the air. I could feel the weight of the unspoken issue pressing down on us, a silent yet relentless call for resolution that could no longer be ignored. "And, Nathan, before you leave, there's something I need to discuss with you," I said, my voice unwavering, even as a storm of nerves churned in my chest. He halted, his backpack dangling precariously from one shoulder, and cast a glance my way, his face etched with a hint of intrigue. "Of course, what's on your mind?" I inhaled sharply, the sensation of teetering on the brink of an abyss coursing through me, ready to abandon all restraint. Last night, I returned home sooner than I had planned, only to stumble upon a scene that was intensely private and deeply unexpected. Nathan felt the blood drain from his face, his eyes growing wide with disbelief, as the truth struck him like a bolt of lightning. Did you really see me?" I nodded, my lips curving into a small, reassuring smile that held a world of unspoken understanding. "Indeed, I did. And I want you to grasp that my feelings are not of anger or disappointment. On the contrary, I comprehend that what unfolded was a natural aspect of life, a private moment that you likely never anticipated would be revealed." Nathan appeared to fold in on himself, the weight of his embarrassment hanging thick in the tense silence that enveloped us after my confession. "I can't believe this is happening," he muttered, his gaze locked onto the floor, as if the ground might offer some escape from the reality closing in around him. "Nathan, look at me." I urged softly, holding my breath until his gaze finally locked onto mine, the tension hanging thick in the air as I prepared to speak again. There's no need for shame. You are a strong, vibrant young man, and it's entirely natural to delve into the depths of your own body. Yet, I recognize the solitude that often accompanies such exploration in silence. His eyes widened in surprise, a flicker of disbelief crossing his face as he processed the raw honesty of our exchange. Words elude me, leaving me in a whirlwind of uncertainty. You don't have to say anything, I reassured him, my fingers brushing against his as I reached across the table. But I want to offer you something, a sanctuary, a chance to delve into your desires without the weight of concealment or guilt. A spark of curiosity pierced the fog of his humiliation. What are you trying to say? I gripped his hand tightly, my eyes locked onto his as I unveiled my daring proposition. I propose that, if you're open to it, we could carve out a moment for you to delve deep into your thoughts and desires, all while holding onto the understanding that solitude is merely an illusion. In the shadows, I linger, a silent guardian, offering companionship and understanding in what is often a lonely endeavor. Nathan's lips parted and closed in a silent gasp, his thoughts a whirlwind as he grappled with the weight of my proposition. Are you really saying you want to observe me? Only if you truly feel at ease with the idea, I urged, mindful of the importance of his freedom in this decision. We would draw the lines with precision, ensuring you held the reins of the situation, commanding it with unwavering authority at every turn. This journey transcends my own narrative. It's about forging a sanctuary where you can unleash your true self, liberated from the shackles of judgment and reproach. He remained frozen in disbelief, the weight of my proposal hanging heavily in the air. His gaze was fixed on mine, a silent battle raging within him as he struggled to comprehend the magnitude of what I had just laid before him. I need to think about it, he finally said, his voice barely above a whisper, laden with uncertainty. This is overwhelming. Of course. Take all the time you need, I said, gently letting go of his hand, allowing him the space to gather his swirling thoughts. Nathan, there's not a hint of pressure at all. Your emotions and sense of security hold the utmost significance in my heart. The remainder of our morning exchanges hung heavy in the air, each word steeped in the gravity of our earlier discussion. As Nathan stepped out for his university classes, an unspoken tension lingered in the air. A fragile thread stretched tight, poised on the brink of either snapping or intertwining deeper into the tapestry of our relationship. The day dragged on, the apartment cloaked in an eerie silence, heavy with the absence left by Nathan's departure. As I drifted deeper into my thoughts, the echoes of our conversation swirled around me, each word heavy with the weight of my daring suggestion and its possible consequences. The stakes were high, a daring risk that I felt could unlock a profound bond of trust and intimacy between us. As the evening drew near, and shadows stretched ominously across the gleaming hardwood floors, a thrilling blend of anticipation and dread coursed through me. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the empty streets, Nathan was on his way back from classes. A sense of anticipation hung in the air, for I knew we would soon have to confront the delicate matter of our new arrangement once more. I had meticulously crafted the foundation for a transformative change in our relationship, and now the weight of the decision rested on his shoulders. Would he dare to take that leap alongside me? As I immersed myself in the rhythm of preparing dinner, the ordinary tasks became a refuge from the storm of chaotic thoughts swirling within me. The rich aroma of garlic and herbs enveloped the space, weaving a comforting tapestry against the backdrop of the intricate emotions I was grappling with. As Nathan stepped through the front door, his face bore the weight of careful reflection, each thought a shadow flickering in his eyes. We traded polite words, and as we settled at the dinner table, I could sense the wheels of his mind turning behind that contemplative stare. He had clearly devoted the day to a deep contemplation, meticulously weighing the potential risks and rewards of the path I had set before him. As we cleared the table together, an electric tension hung in the air, thick and undeniable. The time had come, a pivotal moment that would change everything. "Nathan," I started, my voice a mere breath, trembling with the weight of unspoken truths. "Have you pondered over our discussion from this morning?" He paused, his hands frozen mid-motion, the damp cloth hanging limply as uncertainty gripped him. "I thought about it," he confessed, his gaze locking onto mine with an intensity that ignited a spark of determination. "I'm ready to dive in and see what unfolds. Before we dive in, we must establish some essential ground rules." A surge of relief enveloped me, swiftly followed by an unyielding resolve. "We will tread carefully, ensuring that every step we take is one we both feel at ease with. This journey is built on trust and respect, the foundation of everything that lies ahead." In the dim light of the room, we meticulously crafted the framework of our new understanding. Every detail was scrutinized, from the time and place of our arrangement to the subtle signals we would employ to convey our consent and comfort levels. The air was thick with anticipation as we navigated this uncharted territory together. The atmosphere was charged with an otherworldly tension as we navigated the delicate terms of our intimate pact. In that moment, the raw beauty of our openness and honesty wove an unbreakable bond between us, drawing us closer into a world of shared secrets and unspoken promises. As the night began to fade, we reached a silent agreement to embark on our new journey the next evening, allowing us both the space to brace ourselves for the deep transformation that awaited our relationship. Nathan retreated to his room, leaving me alone with a storm of thoughts. The gravity of our decision wrapped around me, a soft yet suffocating shroud that pressed down, heavy and unyielding. The next evening descended, shrouded in a tense stillness, brimming with the promise of what lay ahead. The apartment shimmered with the warm glow of ambient lighting, enveloping the dining room in a soft, flattering hue as Nathan and I prepared to share our meal. With meticulous attention, I crafted a dish that promised warmth and elegance, a roast chicken infused with fragrant herbs and zesty lemon. It was perfectly paired with a vibrant array of roasted vegetables and a refreshing salad of mixed greens, each element harmonizing to create a culinary masterpiece. As we settled into our seats, the sharp clink of cutlery against fine china echoed around us, creating a rhythmic backdrop that danced with the ebb and flow of our conversation. Initially, our conversation danced around the mundane. Nathan's day at the university, an intriguing article I had stumbled upon, the vibrant cultural happenings around the city. However, as the night deepened, our words shifted, becoming a playful exchange filled with double entendres and knowing glances that hinted at the underlying intentions of the evening. He met my smile with a bemused expression, a flicker of intrigue dancing in his eyes. It's a rare occasion when we find ourselves sharing such a close and personal dinner, isn't it? The laughter that erupted was bright and contagious, a fleeting moment of joy that cut through the thick tension that had been simmering since our conversation the day before. We savored our meal, the wine flowing freely, each bottle uncorked, stripping away our reservations and deepening the bond that was swiftly transforming into something much more intricate. After dinner, we slipped into the living room, where the inviting embrace of the plush sofa cushions urged us to sink in for a nightcap, the atmosphere thick with anticipation. Nathan poured us each a glass of cognac, the rich amber liquid swirling enticingly as he presented mine with a dramatic flourish. With a glass raised high, he toasted to new experiences, his voice laced with a thrilling blend of excitement and apprehension. "To new experiences," I proclaimed, the sound of our glasses clinking reverberating through the air, filling the room with an electric anticipation. We sat side by side, our bodies angled toward one another, the air thick with the palpable tension of unspoken desires. Our conversation twisted and turned through a labyrinth of topics, each one rich with innuendo and cloaked hints, alluding to the deeper intentions that lingered in the air between us. As we drained our glasses, an unmistakable change washed over Nathan, his quiet contemplation morphing into a daring resolve that crackled in the air around us. "Shall we delve into the next chapter of our evening's adventure?" I inquired, my voice a blend of softness and resolve, an unspoken agreement hanging in the air between us. Nathan nodded, his gaze piercing through me with a fervor that sent my heart racing in my chest. "Yes, let's," he replied, his voice unwavering, yet a current of tension threaded through his words. I rose from the sofa, my fingers gliding over the switch as the lights dimmed, casting the room into a world of soft shadows and muted colors. As I settled into my seat once more, my eyes found Nathan, silently urging him to take the first step into the unfolding narrative. He inhaled deeply, his hands pressed firmly against his thighs, as if summoning every ounce of courage within him. With a gaze filled with quiet resolve, he grasped the hem of his shirt and, with deliberate slowness, lifted it over his head, unveiling the sculpted contours of his chest and abdomen in the shadows of the dimly lit room. My breath hitched in my throat at the sight of him, his body a living testament to the man he had transformed into. I stood, captivated, my eyes locked on him as he slowly unbuttoned his jeans and let them fall away, revealing only his boxer briefs, the fabric taut against the undeniable proof of his desire. "Do you feel at ease?" I inquired, my voice a mere breath, seeking reassurance that we were both comfortable with the tension that was about to unravel. "Yes," he confirmed, his gaze locking onto mine with a raw vulnerability that stirred something deep within me, a blend of heartache and undeniable allure. With that, Nathan shut his eyes, sinking into the plush embrace of the sofa, his hands gliding with intent toward the elastic waistband of his underwear. He hesitated, a brief stillness enveloping him as he braced against the impending rush of sensations. With a shaky breath, he turned away, as if shielding himself from an invisible judgment. A warmth enveloped me as I beheld him, his hand gliding along the length of his shaft, each stroke weaving a tapestry of shadows and light in the softly illuminated room. My breath matched the cadence of his movements, each heartbeat echoing in my chest as I observed him, completely absorbed in the depths of his own ecstasy. My gaze locked onto him, an unseen witness to his intimate moment. The boundaries of propriety and decorum that had once governed our relationship began to fade, overwhelmed by this intense, unrestrained surge of longing. Yet, within the act lay a profound tenderness, a silent acknowledgement that our actions stemmed from a bond of trust and an unconventional yet deep-seated affection. With each passing minute, Nathan's breath became a ragged whisper, his body coiled tight, bracing for the inevitable crescendo. The tension in his thighs and abdomen coiled like a spring, each muscle straining as his hand moved with a frantic intensity, racing toward the inevitable release that beckoned him closer. As the echoes of the tumult faded, he remained still for a heartbeat, his chest heaving with each labored breath. Slowly, he opened his eyes, locking them onto mine with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. In that fleeting moment, the raw vulnerability mirrored in his eyes struck me like a lightning bolt, a potent reminder of the deep connection we had crafted. It was a bond that defied the conventional limits of our relationship, plunging us into uncharted emotional depths. As I began to rise from the sofa, determined to grant Nathan the space and privacy he might require in the aftermath of his vulnerability, his hand reached out, softly encircling my wrist. The touch ignited a spark, a desperate call for connection that sent a thrilling shiver racing through my veins. "Stay," he urged, his voice a gentle plea that stirred something profound inside me. "I desire for you to immerse yourself in this, to become an integral part of it all." My heart raced as I paused, the gravity of his request pressing down on me like a storm cloud ready to burst. The carefully drawn boundaries began to tremble before my gaze, as the lines between observer and participant started to dissolve into a single, indistinct reality. My mind surged with the weight of his request, the looming consequences of breaching a boundary that had, until now, remained untouchable. Yet, as I gazed into Nathan's eyes, I perceived more than mere desire shimmering in their depths. A deep yearning for closeness pulsed between us, a longing for a connection that reached far beyond the mere physical act we were considering. It was a summons to shed the last vestiges of our former selves and fully embrace the intricate tapestry of what we had evolved into for each other. With a weighty sense of fate hanging in the air, I nodded, my agreement forged with the same deliberate thoughtfulness that had defined every moment of our journey up to this point. "Okay," I whispered, my voice unwavering even as a storm of nerves swirled in my stomach. "I will remain." Nathan's relief washed over him, his grip loosening around my wrist as he gently led me back down onto the sofa beside him. His touch was hesitant at first, a delicate journey across the curves of my body, the fabric of my clothing a mere barrier to the electric connection sparking between us. Every touch, every tender squeeze, fanned the flames of a smoldering desire that had sparked within me the instant I beheld his bare figure. As his hands grew bolder, slipping beneath the hem of my blouse, I felt an electric thrill surge through me. My body arched into his touch, betraying the initial hesitation that had once held me back, awakening a desire I could no longer deny. The touch of his fingers on my skin ignited a thrilling mix of the unknown and the known, a tantalizing pleasure that sent waves of desire coursing through me. The unmistakable heat of his renewed desire pressed against my hip, a vivid testament to the powerful connection our shared experience was igniting within him. The thrill coursed through me, a potent rush as I realized I held the power to evoke such a profound reaction from this robust, passionate young man who had laid bare his deepest longings before me. With a daring that caught me off guard, I lowered my hand, moving in sync with his as we ventured into the uncharted territory of our blossoming connection. The intertwining sensations of giving and receiving pleasure enveloped us, forging an unbreakable bond that spiraled into a relentless cycle of desire, erasing any trace of doubt or regret. Our movements grew frantic, the once serene sanctuary of the living room morphing into an intimate world where only we existed, bound by a connection that surged with an intensity threatening to consume us both. Nathan's breath hitched, each gasp sharp and frantic, his body coiling tightly under my fingers as he approached the brink of another climax. With a deep, resonant moan that echoed from the core of his soul, Nathan reached his climax again, the heat enveloping my hand as I continued to caress him. The sight of him, stripped bare and completely exposed, ignited a fire within me, a potent allure that sent me spiraling into a whirlwind of desire, my body trembling with an intensity that caught me off guard. In the stillness that enveloped us, we lay entwined, a chaotic mix of limbs and soft, murmured affections. The boundaries that once defined Sophia and Stepson had dissolved into nothingness, the roles we had clung to now overshadowed by the profound connection forged through our intertwined lives. That night, we stepped into a realm beyond our understanding, a line drawn in the sand that could never be erased. In a moment charged with unspoken tension, the Stepson sought a bond that reached beyond the confines of his own existence. The Sophia, in turn, ignited a fire within herself, one that boldly challenged the very fabric of societal norms and expectations. In that moment, we reshaped the very essence of our connection, crafting a bond that shimmered with beauty yet tangled with complexity. As we finally broke free from each other's grasp and retreated to our separate rooms, a heavy realization settled in. There was no returning to the past we once knew. We set forth on a journey that would irrevocably reshape our destinies, a path woven with threads of deep connection and the haunting recollection of a night that transformed us in ways we were just starting to grasp. Oh, morning light poured through the sheer curtains, bathing the kitchen in a warm golden hue as I immersed myself in the comforting rituals of breakfast preparation. The rich scent of freshly brewed coffee, intertwined with the mouth-watering aroma of sizzling bacon, a haunting echo of the normalcy that had once defined our mornings. As I meticulously set the table for two, an unsettling tension crackled beneath the surface of our seemingly ordinary domesticity, whispering secrets of what lay ahead. Nathan stepped into the kitchen, his movements tentative, his eyes locking onto mine with a mix of uncertainty and intrigue. We exchanged polite greetings, the words mere vessels for the unspoken thoughts and feelings that loomed like shadows, ready to engulf us in their intensity. As we settled into our seats, the weight of the previous night's events loomed between us, an unspoken tension that neither of us dared to confront just yet. We sat in silence, the sharp clink of cutlery against plates, echoing like a haunting reminder of the lively banter that had once danced through our mornings. I observed Nathan from the shadows of my lashes, captivated by the way his gaze danced away from mine, the faint blush that ignited on his cheeks each time our hands inadvertently touched. As we approached the final bites of our meal, Nathan's throat cleared, a tension-filled sound that sliced through the air. His fingers began to drum a restless rhythm on the tablecloth, each tap echoing the anticipation that hung between us. "About last night," he began, his voice barely a whisper, as if the very air around them held secrets waiting to be uncovered. I felt compelled to speak. Your touch ignited something deep within me. It exuded an air of professionalism. A wave of relief crashed over me at his words, a powerful affirmation of the care and restraint I had woven into our intimate encounter. "I'm relieved to hear you felt that way, Nathan." Ensuring that we both felt at ease and valued during the entire experience was of utmost importance to me. He nodded, his gaze locking onto mine with an intensity that spoke volumes. I did. As I settled into the moment, a thought crossed my mind. What if we could relive this experience again, sometime soon? The suggestion, though not wholly surprising, ignited a surge of anxiety, intertwined with excitement that raced through my veins. We navigated a fragile landscape, every step forward laden with the promise of deep connection and the looming shadow of irreversible heartache. As I gazed into Nathan's eyes, a flicker of hope ignited within me, mirroring the deep-seated yearning for adventure that lay hidden in my heart. We must forge ahead with open communication and set firm boundaries, ensuring that our arrangement thrives in a realm of health and consent. Nathan's shoulders dropped, the tightness that had coiled within him unraveling at the sound of my agreement to his plea. I completely grasped the situation. Last night held profound significance for me, and I believe it would be beneficial for us to delve deeper into this new dimension of our relationship. I extended my hand across the table, enveloping his in a gesture that spoke volumes of reassurance and unwavering solidarity. We will navigate this journey slowly, with a keen awareness of one another's emotions and boundaries, ensuring that every step we take is considerate and respectful. Our bond is unlike any other, a rare gem that deserves to be cherished and cultivated, untouched by the constraints of societal expectations or norms. As we polished off our breakfast, the lively chatter began to wane, giving way to the ordinary rhythm of daily life. Discussions of the day ahead, looming university assignments, and the familiar ebb and flow of routine. Yet beneath the surface, a subtle shift in our dynamic began to unfold, a quiet acknowledgement of the shared journey we had embarked upon, and the unspoken agreement that shaped our every interaction. As Nathan rose to depart for his classes, he hesitated, casting a glance back at me that was heavy with gratitude and unvoiced feelings. "Thank you for all that you have done. Will I see you tonight?" A smile crept across my face, a wave of tranquility washing over me as I embraced the journey we had embarked on together. "Absolutely, Nathan. I'll meet you tonight." As he stepped out of the apartment, the sharp click of the front door echoed, marking the beginning of an exhilarating new chapter in our lives. Once again, solitude enveloped me, and I found myself lost in thought, contemplating the deep transformations that had unfolded in the blink of an eye. The dynamic between the Sophia and Stepson had transformed completely, reshaped by the deep respect and understanding that had emerged from their recent encounters. As the day unfolded, my mind frequently wandered back to Nathan and the extraordinary connection we were beginning to weave. The evening loomed with the tantalizing allure of uncharted territory, an invitation to plunge into the intricate web of our entwined longings. The path ahead was riddled with challenges and lurking dangers, yet an undeniable thrill coursed through me as I embraced the journey, fueled by a flicker of cautious hope. Nathan's perspective on our experience, seeing it as something positive and even therapeutic, soothed any lingering doubts that had taken root in my mind about the propriety of our actions. We navigated the unknown, driven by an unwavering dedication to truth, respect, and the quest for a bond that defied the ordinary limits of our connection. As the sun sank beneath the horizon, casting the apartment in a gentle twilight glow, I steeled myself for Nathan's return. The anticipation coursing through my veins was a testament to how deeply entwined I had become in his life, a journey that had veered into uncharted territory, yet one I had learned to embrace with every fiber of my being. As the day faded, shadows stretched ominously across the cityscape outside our windows, and a sense of unease gripped me as I awaited the unfolding evening. Time slipped away in a whirlwind of mundane chores and deep reflection, each tick of the clock drawing me nearer to the moment when Nathan and I would reunite, diving once more into our passionate journey of longing and intimacy. The apartment was bathed in the gentle embrace of twilight when the unmistakable sound of his key twisting in the lock pierced the stillness. My heart surged, a whirlwind of nerves and exhilaration swirling in a chaotic ballet within the confines of my ribcage. That evening, I meticulously curated my look, selecting an outfit that balanced comfort with an enticing allure, a quiet acknowledgement of the unspoken pact that lingered between us. As Nathan crossed the threshold, the air around him crackled with an intensity that was both soothing and charged with anticipation, transforming the room into a realm of palpable excitement. "Is anyone there?" he greeted me, his voice a soothing whisper that wrapped around me like a comforting blanket, drawing me into its gentle warmth. "Welcome back," I said, my smile a careful blend of warmth and determination. a silent promise to uphold the pact we had forged. Was your day filled with accomplishment and purpose? He nodded, dropping his backpack by the door, then strode purposefully toward me, the air thick with unspoken tension. Yet, I couldn't shake the feeling that my mind was consumed by the impending evening. His candid confession ignited a surge of excitement within me, a vivid sign that we were both wholeheartedly devoted to the journey ahead. It fills me with relief to know that. Anticipation swells within me as I think of the moments we will share together. We lingered in a hushed stillness, the atmosphere crackling with the unspoken anticipation of what lay ahead. Nathan's eyes sparkled with a blend of anticipation and a whisper of vulnerability, a poignant reminder that even in the glow of his newfound confidence, he was still traversing the intricate maze of our unconventional bond. Shall we embark on this journey together? He reached out, his hand hovering in the air, a wordless beckoning that stirred something deep within me. I took his hand, our fingers weaving together in a dance that was at once comforting and exhilaratingly foreign. Indeed, let us embark on this journey. We stepped into the living room, where the soft glow of the dimmed lights and the inviting embrace of the plush furnishings created an atmosphere ripe for our encore. Nathan grasped the remote control, his fingers trembling with anticipation as he flicked on the television. The screen flickered to life, revealing a video notorious for its explicit content, a tantalizing spark igniting the uncharted desires we had only just begun to delve into. As the video unfolded, the actors on screen lost themselves in a whirlwind of unrestrained passion, igniting a warmth that coursed through my body. Each scene intensified my awareness of Nathan's presence beside me, drawing me deeper into the moment. The heat emanated from his skin, a palpable force that drew me in. I could sense the intensity of his breathing, each breath more pronounced, a testament to the rising tension, as the scenes before us unfolded with an intoxicating allure. After a few moments, he turned to me, his gaze piercing and brimming with unvoiced desire. Join me on this journey. I want you to share in this experience with me. He spoke, his voice a mere breath, barely breaking the silence. Could you lend me your assistance? His request lay bare, a potent aphrodisiac that pulsed with the raw energy of trust, beckoning me to navigate the treacherous depths of our entwined desires. Absolutely, Nathan. I stand by your side, ready to support you in every way you require. With that, I extended my hand, fingers intertwining with his, offering a firm squeeze that spoke volumes of comfort and connection. Our gazes held firm, an unbreakable connection as my fingers began to explore, gliding over the curves of his form with a devotion that felt almost sacred. Every gasp and shudder that coursed through him echoed the unspoken bond growing stronger between us with each fleeting moment. As my hand descended, brushing against the unmistakable evidence of his desire through the fabric of his pants, Nathan's breath caught in his throat, a vivid indication of his growing hunger. Please, he murmured, the single word steeped in a universe of yearning and unquenchable desire. With a hesitant touch, I reached for his hand, our fingers intertwining as we stepped into uncharted territory. The act unfolded as a surrender to his desires, while simultaneously declaring my own place in this intricate ballet of ecstasy and fragility. As I started to tease him with slow, deliberate motions, Nathan's head tilted back against the sofa, his eyes drifting shut as he succumbed to the tide of sensations that surged through him. His presence, consumed by the depths of his own unrestrained longing, ignited a fire within me, awakening a desire that surged and swelled with intensity. Our movements grew increasingly frantic, the symphony of our shared ecstasy intertwining with the provocative sounds spilling from the television. It unfolded like a symphony of longing, a powerful declaration of the profound bond we shared, and the daring choice we made to fully immerse ourselves in it. In an electrifying instant, Nathan's hand found its way to the nape of my neck, drawing me closer with an intensity that set my heart racing. As our lips collided, it felt like a long-awaited reunion, a moment steeped in both tenderness and intensity. Each brush ignited a journey of discovery, whispering of hidden truths and the silent ties that intertwined our souls. The kiss deepened, our tongues entwining in a passionate dance that echoed the rhythm of our clasped hands below. It was a crossing of a sacred threshold, a vivid manifestation of the love and desire that had flourished between us, defying the weight of societal norms and expectations. As our embrace deepened, Nathan's hands roamed over the curves and contours of my body, each touch whispering a silent promise of the ecstasy that awaited us both. I mirrored his touch, my fingers slipping beneath the fabric of his clothing, exploring the warmth of the bare skin that awaited beneath. The surge of our passion was unavoidable, a thrilling evolution from the tentative exploration of our past meetings to the wild, unbridled expression of our shared longing. With a reverence that felt almost sacred, we slowly undressed one another, our eyes feasting on the beauty of each other's revealed forms. As we finally shed our last layers, a palpable tension filled the air. Nathan's hands quivered ever so slightly as he led me down onto the sofa beside him, the world around us fading into a hushed silence. His gaze bore into me with an intensity that spoke volumes, revealing a tumultuous blend of desire, tenderness, and an unbreakable bond that reached far beyond the physical act we were on the brink of sharing. That night, we crossed a line, one that left us both trembling, unsure if we'd found solace or ruin. Nathan's every touch, every kiss, every whispered endearment ignited a fire within me, a constant reminder that we had transcended the boundaries of our roles as mere Sophia and Stepson. We were partners in every sense, entwined by a connection that shimmered with beauty and pulsed with complexity. As we ascended to the peak of our entwined ecstasy, our bodies harmonizing in a dance toward the impending climax, I realized we had ventured beyond a threshold from which there was no turning back. The act of lovemaking, which had started as a mere exploration of desire, transformed into something far deeper, an intimate union that forever intertwined our destinies. In the aftermath, as we lay entwined in each other's embrace, a profound silence surrounded us, rich with the unvoiced understanding of the extraordinary journey we had just shared. Nathan pressed a tender kiss to my forehead, a quiet recognition of the path we had traveled side by side, a path that had irrevocably changed the trajectory of our lives. In the days that followed, Nathan and I found ourselves entwined in a new rhythm, each moment charged with the pulse of our deepening connection. Our interactions danced on the edge of domestic normalcy, infused with the electric thrill of our secret explorations. Each moment wove itself into the intricate tapestry of our unconventional relationship, a vivid thread in a story waiting to unfold. The mornings unfolded in a cocoon of comfortable silence, where shared glances and knowing smiles danced across the breakfast table, each one a silent testament to the deep intimacy we had woven together. We whispered about inconsequential things, our trivial exchanges a sharp juxtaposition to the smoldering desire that lurked just beneath the surface. As Nathan sat in his university classes, I drifted into a whirlwind of thoughts, grappling with the deep and unsettling transformation that had unfolded between us. The afternoons unfurled like a vast canvas, brimming with potential that both thrilled and intimidated, each moment heavy with unspoken possibilities. As I immersed myself in work and household chores, a palpable tension hung in the air, each tick of the clock echoing the countdown to Nathan's return. Every evening, we gathered once more in the refuge of our shared living space, the well-known surroundings serving as a canvas for our deepening journey into each other's souls. The rituals we forged became a source of solace and a spark for the deep-seated desires that intertwined with the very essence of our connection. We exchanged words, our laughter echoed, and secrets flowed between us. With every interaction, we ventured deeper into the uncharted realms of our connection. As the sun dipped below the horizon, our evenings drew us into the living room, where the gentle glow of lamplight enveloped us, wrapping our bare skin in a tender embrace of warmth. The intimacy we shared wove a rich tapestry of touch and taste, each encounter a vivid exploration of mutual pleasure and the delicate boundaries of our physical connection. The world beyond faded into oblivion as we surrendered to a collective ecstasy, a sanctuary that unveiled truths we never dared to confront. As the nights deepened, we lay entwined, the stillness of the apartment echoing the profound trust that bound us together. Nathan's head nestled against my chest, his breaths deep and rhythmic, surrendering to the gentle embrace of sleep. In the stillness of those moments, I delved deep into the journey that had brought us to this point. A journey filled with unforeseen twists and the bravery to navigate the intricate layers of our changing bond. In the stillness of our shared bed, I found myself lost in thought, grappling with the weight of the future and the unvoiced questions that hovered just beyond the reach of my mind. What fate awaited us? This fragile equilibrium we had painstakingly woven together. As Nathan's hand slipped into mine amidst the shadows, a surge of warmth coursed through me, a vivid reminder of the profound connection we had nurtured. It was a bond born from our deepest vulnerabilities, and the steadfast conviction that what we held was a treasure worth every peril we faced. And so, we pressed on, day by day, our lives entwined in a mesmerizing dance of passion and tenderness. Outside, the world cast its judgment, eager to confine love and family within rigid boundaries. Yet, within the sanctuary of our home, Nathan and I had forged a realm that belonged solely to us, a refuge where we could delve into the depths of our desires and embrace the limitless possibilities of our intertwined destinies.